Okay, so let's just do a simple ball bounce animation. I'm going to create a new sphere. I'll move it up. Maybe 10 units up. And to get the ball rolling, I'm going to set the keyframe. What else is going on? We're going to just kind of do a classic two-dimensional ball bounce. So I'm going to look at it from the front. I'm going to make sure that my tumble's off because I don't want to accidentally be hitting that all the time. What else? What else? Yeah, that's fine for now. So let's see. I'm just going to go out 5 frames and set a key. And I'm going to just think about my decays. So with each bounce, by controlling the decay or the reduction in distance and height between each bounce, you can kind of control how that animation is read. For example, if we wanted it to be like a ping pong, there wouldn't be much decay, and if we wanted it to be like a baseball, there'd be a lot of decay. And I guess this will make a little more sense when we're looking at the graph. But right now I'm just going forward 5 frames and coming down. And if I want to kind of see, without opening the graph editor, what's going on, I can go to the animation menu, go to visualize, and go and turn on ghosting. And if I want to customize that, which I'm doing here, custom, we'll do every frame will have an instant. I mean, you can kind of play with this. It's a little self-explanatory. So we can have before and after. We can set it to just second, 2 seconds, or custom. So I'm going to just do the past so I can kind of see what's happening. And I'm just going to have tons of frames for now. All right, so I'm just worrying about position and timing. I'm not going to worry about the parabolas or the arcs of the bounce just yet. All right, so I move forward 5 frames. Another thing to be aware of is just some hotkeys. Alt, period, I go forward. Alt, comma, I go backwards. Control Alt jumps forward, and Control Alt period jumps forward, and Control Alt comma jumps backward. All right, so when I scrub forward, I see the echo. Okay, so I'm thinking about my decays. So if this is from the apex and it takes 5 frames to come down, I'm going to make each kind of bounce a little bit smaller and make the arc a little smaller. So for this next one, I'm going to go Alt 1, 2, 3, 4, come up, didn't like that, hit W, and then Alt 1, 2, 3, 4. Down again. That. Over a touch. I'm just kind of looking at these arcs. So we get it. So 5, which is really 5 times 2 is 10. Then I have 8. So next let's do 6. So I'll do 1, 1, 2, 3. And like that. One, two, three. Keyframe. kind of looking at these angles like that. And then I'll go 2, 1, 2. Much smaller. 1, 2. And then 1. All right, so I'm just going to let this play. And I also want it to kind of roll to a rest. So set one more keyframe. And it's taking way too long. It's going way too far. Grab this, move it. Actually, I don't want to. I do want to take a while to rest, but it can't go nearly as far. It's almost like it's accelerating when it gets to the end. That is not what I want. It's a little too abrupt. Balancing act here. And it's always good to just try to get this, as far as you can, just with timing. All right, so let's see. Let's turn off the ghosting. And then we're going to go to the graph editor. Put it, then dock it down there so I can kind of see what I'm doing while I work. And let's see what we got. So we can look at one channel at a time just by clicking it. And I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm working on my laptop here. Screen real estate's precious, so I'll go full screen. All right, and I'm just looking at these bounces just in the Y for a second. Not too bad. Just kind of looking at the shape of these. This one's like the most acute, and then a little wider and a little wider. I'm just trying to make a nice decay. All right, so that's the Y, and then in the X, that's fine. Now when it's in the air, it shouldn't really change its velocity in x at all because it's not actually interacting with anything. I mean, I guess there's like wind resistance and stuff, but I'm not going to worry about that. So I'm just going to turn off or delete the x keyframes between each bounce when it's in the air. The other thing I'm kind of looking at is just the slope of this curve. So the bigger the slope of a line, the more change in time there is, and the flatter it is, the less change, right? So I would imagine that each time it hits the ground, it's going to lose a little bit of energy because of friction, and it's going to bounce a little less. It's going to bounce less high because it's going to kind of the ball hit's going to lose a little energy, and then when the friction's going to make it bounce a little less far. So I'm just looking at the slope of these lines here, and I'm actually seeing that the slope is kind of accelerating. So maybe we'll make the first bounce a little bit bigger. And then I'm just looking at these. Whoopsie. And I'm just, each one, I'm going to flatten it out just a little bit. And once again, they're having an X keyframe when it's at the apex of the bounce seems like it's just making life harder on ourselves. And after each bounce, its velocity, it loses a little energy and its velocity changes. And we can zoom in. Sometimes it's handy to just select a single key and then just hit F, so you can kind of just really kind of analyze the slope here. So let's see here. That's not too bad. And I'm just trying to create like a nice, even without the tangencies and stuff, I'm just trying to create like kind of a nice curve here. All right, we're not doing Z at all, so let's delete that, and let's once again, so if I want to just play, I can hit Alt-V. Now, what's cool about Maya and a lot of programs is I can manipulate these keys globally. So like if I'm looking at this, I think it's bouncing too far in the X. I want it to kind of be a little bit more vertical. So what I can do is I can go to the origin here, hit my R key. I want to scale the amplitude of this X so it doesn't move quite as far. So it's gonna hit R, and middle mouse. Now it's gonna go a little less than X. Kind of nice. Might have definitely messed this up a little, but that's fine. All right. Some more too. All right, so let's say that's a good start for the timing and general positioning of our ball. So the next thing we're going to do is look at adjusting the tangencies of our path here.